At this point in time, I will entertain Katrina Oliverio, village clerk. You asked to be on the board, or you asked to be on the agenda. You can be on the board too, I guess. What's up?
Yeah, so I wanted to come and talk to you guys today. I'm sure you've seen the letters going around in requests for 24-hour police coverage between the town and village. And I wanted to bring a personal experience that I had this weekend and tell you kind of what happened. I live on 43 Russell Street. I was born and raised here in Canisteo, came back, bought a house here in Canisteo, and I have 2 young children. It was 1:30 in the morning. My dog starts carrying on. I send my husband out to see what's going on. He looks out my front door, and there's 2 people standing at the base of my stairs. I mean, I can't say what they were up to, but I also can't say they were up to anything good at that time of night. Unfortunately, my husband didn't have his glasses on, so he couldn't see the people. I really identify the car. You could just tell that was a man and female, and it was an older car sitting on the side of the road. I know recently this hasn't been the first case that this has happened, and I understand I am a village resident, but I also pay town taxes. So what I'm asking for tonight is for the town and village to come together and take these letters seriously. There are people that are taking their time to sign these letters and ask for this consideration because we all live within the town and the village, and it is an issue. It's concerning as a young family raising my children here. I love the school district, I love the village, but there is drugs, there is theft, and it is becoming an issue. And I really would like for the town to consider this because as working for the village, but also being at the village board meetings, I know it's something that we're open to, but we need to join forces. Financially, it's an issue for everyone, bringing on new personnel, but it is something that we need. And I'm sure that I could get other people to come in and talk, and you could talk to the police chief, and he could tell you of other incidents that have happened within the last month.
Thank you. I have a question, please.
Sure.
How would the joining with the town actually help you in your particular case? If we were to, say, double the police force, the ones that would be protecting us, per se, would be on the outskirts of the town, where in your case, you know, I feel sorry for you, but the thing is, you know, who's to say that even if you had more police force, they would still be able to monitor your situation?
And I'm not saying they could have, but my only option at 1:30 at night would have been to call 911 and wait for a sheriff or a trooper to come. And that would have been an hour, hour and a half, disrupt my family again, just to give a statement of what we kind of saw. Where if I could have called, not saying, I mean, if they were in the town and they had to come in, it might have taken them 15-20 minutes, but the likelihood could have been greater. And my issue wasn't the most severe. Nothing was stolen, luckily, from my house. However, the people that have, if you've had conversations with these people, and again, I understand they're village residents, but they've said to me, well, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, I knew no one was on duty, so I waited until 6 when someone was on duty to call. That's terrible. Why would anyone have that perception?
That is the whole idea. I mean, I can see your point, but the thing is, the whole idea behind the police force deal, the 911, is to call them. See, that way you don't go through all the channels to try to call directly into the police force. So in this particular instance, chances are you might have been in the right to call 911, because, you know, unless they've got a police force on duty 24 hours a day.
Oh, I would have called 911, but I knew no one was going to be on duty. Like, because what they would have done is, if someone was in the village, they would have called them over, but I knew no one would have been there. So they would have had to dispatch a trooper or a sheriff.
She had an insight because she's a village clerk and she knows when they're on, when they're off.
Yeah.
Well,
We don't have 24-hour protection.
We don't
Yeah,
have.
there's
It
3
doesn't-
other residents that
I just
didn't call
don't-
because of that. They know that there was no.
I understand where you're coming from, but it just doesn't make sense to me to double the police force and who's to say you're or whatever, I mean, you know, but still.
I think it's more of a rotation. And that's why I'd like you guys to talk to the village, because I think you would have a better understanding if you could get Kyle here, the village, and the town together and actually make work together as one unit. Because as a village resident, we're expected to pay town and village. That's expected of us. So I think it's fair for us to say, we need to all work together. It has to happen at some point for the safety of all your residents. And I get you guys have the town residents that are only responsible for the town, and I have both. But the important thing is, it's not your police force does your thing, the village does their own thing. It's working together, because that's what we have to do, because we need people here 24 hours a day. That's the reality of it. It's not small town Canisteo anymore, unfortunately, where I can leave my car unlocked and my house unlocked like I did growing up. When I came back from college, my parents locked the door. Why? Because Mickey Corretto's house was broken into and the stuff was stolen out of. Laura Cohn, who lives across the street, had someone pounding on her door at 3 o'clock in the morning because the guy was strung out on drugs and didn't know he wasn't at his house. That's the reality.
I talked to the mayor last week or 2 weeks ago about this at great length.
Yeah.
It's something that's on the horizon, it's something that hopefully can happen if it's not backbreaking as far as cost goes. It's an unfortunate society that we're predicated to have carry guns, which I don't think is a bad thing, but what you're saying is well taken, well understood, and then it's coming. When it's coming, I don't know, but the mayor and I talked long and hard about shared services,
Kyle has a very thought out plan.
about this fire business, about the police business, and all in general. But the bottom line is, the mayor would like to have this expound to a point where it's not going to break your backs financially. That's not the target here.